Hello, we are back with another grading tutorial, but first I want to point out an error that I noticed on one of my video. If you look at tutorial number 14, I made a mistake when I wrote down this chart here. For that particular video, I had a 2-inch crease can only be 6.5 max, and that's not correct. It should be 2-inch crease for 7.0 max and then 6-inch crease for a 6.5 max. I rewrote this so many times for videos that for that particular one I made an error, and I only noticed it earlier today when I pull out this piece of paper to shoot this video, and I saw the error, so I fixed it. So okay, so for this video, what I'm trying to do is show you what I consider a 9.8. okay, so if you look at my criteria here, I said that anything that have a crease, a visible crease, the brick color that is 1/116 of an inch, 9.6 is maximum. Okay, as I mentioned before, that is not a hard set rule, it's just my criteria. So there are plenty of 9.8 books, 9.8 slabs out there that I can spot tiny flaws of 1/116 of an inch. So but for my own grading purposes, this is what I do, and I find that you know, if CGC decide to give a book with that small visible flaw a 9.8, so be it. Okay, so let's start with 9.8. In my opinion, 9.8 is probably the easiest grade to grade because the amount of allowable flaws are so few that it's easy to eliminate books that is not 9.8. okay, so what we have here is a Weird Western Tale, beautiful book. Okay, for the purpose of this video, as you can see, the gloss beautiful. There is absolutely no fingerprint or bend of any sort. Just a beautiful book. And for the sake of this video, let's assume that there is no flaws on the interior, and as usual when you grade, you should definitely flip through every page to make sure there's no tears of any page inside and the centerfold is completely firm. But for this video, let's skip that step. Okay, and the same thing with the back cover. Okay, as you can see, absolutely beautiful. This is an easy 9.8. okay, this book is so beautiful that it's easy to give it a 9.8. but let's give it a closer look. As you can see, the corners, the edge, top edge, top corner. When a book is this nice with no bindery tears, as you can see, there's a tiniest right there. That's production related, not a problem. Okay, so as you can see, there's not. Okay, I want to point out something that I forgot to mention before. You see this little line right there? There's like a little dimple right at that spot. It's very common with Bronze Age book to have that little dimple there. Often you see 1 or 2 or even 4. Usually they line up perfectly where the staples are, and that's because it's a mark left during the stapling process, so it's considered production related, and CGC does not ding the book that harshly. I have many books with that slight indentation, as you can see right there. It's clear right there. But if you look at the rest of the spine, it's beautiful. So this book, I have no problem giving it a 9.8 as is. Okay, so that's a perfect example of what a 9.8 is. Very easy. The next one, let's see. Here's another example. Okay, let's look real quick. Okay, beautiful corner spine. Though the miswrap of the white spine is always very difficult to see any flaws, because if there's any kind of dimple or spine tick on this white area, you can't really see it. You probably can see it more when you lift it up to the light. But you can see the edges and corner, gorgeous. Let's have a closer look at the spine. I have to do it, but I will check it out later. As you can see right here on the back cover, you see one tiny little dimple on the spine right there. Okay, just one tiny one. But the rest of the book, as you can see, is razor sharp. Nothing wrong with this book. Now this is where, if there's anything that may keep this book from a 9.8, is all depend on what the greater view of this little tiny tick right there. Okay, so the first one, this one was an easy lock at 9.8. This one is slightly more a tweener. I wouldn't call it a lock at 9.8, but if you sent this book to CGC, I'm highly confident that it will get 9.8, but until we send it in, there's no way to tell. Okay, as you can see, the spine of this book and the cloth is just gorgeous. There's not one indentation or fingerprint. Just look at how beautiful the spine is. It's nothing. Okay, so right there, the first one is an easy 9.8. This one, because of that one tiny little dent right there, make it slightly iffy. Okay, so we are going down the scale of 9.8, and let's go to the last example. Once again, as you can see, the gloss of this book is just gorgeous. There's a slight bindery tear up there, not a big deal. Top edge, right corner, beautiful. As you can see, the spine is gorgeous. But I will point out to the one tiny flaw. You can see it right there. Okay, you can see that one tiny spine tick right there. Okay, right there. Ever so small. Okay. This book, as you can see, the back, have a similar tiny flaw right there, like this book right here. So right there, there's a tiny little flaws, and then the rest of the book is razor sharp. Okay, you can see the gloss, gorgeous. So this, out of the 3 books that I just showed you, this one is the weakest candidate that would be 9.8. You know, I'm very confident on this one, somewhat confident on this one, and this one here is what I would call, you know, a 9.6 based on, if you look at the scales I have here, it has 1/116th of an inch crease, give or take, of how tiny that little speck right there is. But it's there. Now, what potentially could help that flaw is the location. It's located in an area where it's not very visible, so CGC grader may miss it, or they may consider to be small enough to be included. Okay, because you got to understand, 9.8 is not perfect. Okay, as I mentioned before, 9.8 is near perfect with tiny flaws. So depending on any given day, CGC graders might look at this and give it a 9.6, or they can give it a 9.8. I'm not so sure. This is one of those books where if I sell it raw, I would list it as 9.6. But due to the nature of this book that is fairly rare, this is a very rare copy in high grade, super high grade. So I would rather send this to CGC, roll my dice, and see if I can get a 9.8, because you know, it might be one of the few, if the only one is 9.8. But that's it. You know, hopefully it would help people out there on how to grade books, on at least understand how I approach grading, and then on future videos I will go down, you know, to 9.6 level and so forth. Hopefully I can go all the way down the scale just to show you how I grade and what a 9.8 look like. Okay, and thanks for watching. Bye.